All right, let's run this back. Can you guys hear me now? I switched from, I don't know what mic I had it set to, but it had it set to the wrong mic, so I switched it to the one in the webcam. I actually use the external mic anymore. Let's see. Let me know if you can hear me. I don't use the external mic anymore because after switching to the new laptop, I don't have as many USB ports, so I'll have to get one of those little USB adapter things to give me more ports. Can you guys hear me? Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Mm-mm. Okay. Nice, nice, nice. Awesome. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and dive in. No introduction time here this morning. We're going to go ahead and just go directly into what we have going on this week. So the energy sector, when looking to the week ahead, will be tuned into the delayed OPEC Plus meeting next week amid reports of disagreements among members over how much production to cut. Crude oil futures have steadied over the last week in front of the OPEC meeting, but are down more than 10% over the last 6 weeks. Underlining the high stakes of the meeting, Seeking Alpha analyst Zoltan Ban called crude oil prices the key interest rates in market performance next year. The key to interest rates and market performance next year. Key economic reports in the week ahead include updates on new home sales, consumer confidence, construction spending, and the latest reading on the Federal Reserve's favorite inflation gauge. The PCE reading on core inflation is expected to show a 0.2% month over month and 3.5% year over year increase. On the corporate calendar, Amazon's reInvent conference is anticipated to create some AI buzz for the Seattle-based company. Tesla will also hold an event at the Gigafactory in Austin to mark its first official deliveries of the long-awaited Cybertruck. Tesla is targeting production of 200,000 Cybertrucks per year, according to CEO Elon Musk. Quote, I can't emphasize enough that manufacturing is much, much harder than the initial design, noted Musk on the challenge of ramping up production. The end of the week will also see the first batch of November deliveries reports arrive from automakers. The earnings calendar is heavily tilted toward the tech sector, with Zscaler, ticker ZS, Salesforce, ticker CRM, Dell Technologies, ticker DELL, and Snowflake, ticker SNOW, some of the notables lined up to report. Now, in terms of earnings, we've got Zscaler on Monday. So that is today. That's again ticker ZS. Some of you might have heard of it. Some might not. Splunk also reports tomorrow. Hewlett Packard Enterprise reports tomorrow. We actually had an executive of Hewlett Packard take stock options made easy. So and now they're out here working within their company and also working in markets. It's a beautiful thing. We've also got CrowdStrike reporting on Tuesday, November 28th. Crowd, we've traded a bit. Wednesday, we've got Snow, right? Snowflake, ticker Snow. Salesforce, CRM, Dollar Tree, ticker DLTR, and Five Below, ticker FIBE. Wouldn't be surprised to see those two, doing well or better than expected off earnings, just because whenever there's a recession or high inflation, people shop at lower retail stores, right? So your Dollar Tree, your Dollar General, your Five Below, those get a lot more traffic than normal. Hormel Foods also reports on November 29th. And, I anticipate that higher food prices also probably help them as well. In terms of earnings spotlight, Thursday, November 30th, we have TD, right? Toronto Dominion Bank, who reports. Their ticker is TD. Dell Technologies as well. Their ticker is DELL. And then Kroger, whose ticker is KR. IPO watch, nothing too exciting. Event. Let's see, because we know Amazon has that event. Do they say when that Amazon event is? We don't get that, but that can be a quick Google search. But yeah, I'm sure we'll see about it on social media. So just, keep your ear to the streets on that with what Amazon has to say. Maybe I'll make a little reel on it. Should be exciting, though. Let's see what we got going on here in terms of our Monday specific news. Let's also check the economic calendar because we don't want to get snuck up on. All right. And again, I hope everybody had a great weekend, whether you spent it with small, immediate family or extended family, or you just spent it alone because you needed that time in order to recoup, right? I hope that you had a great time and make sure that you're minding yourself, right? Minding your own cup as we, are full-fledged into this holiday season, because there can be a lot of traveling, running around, all that great stuff, but it can also be very stress and anxiety inducing. So make sure that you're checking in with yourself, meditating, journaling, doing what you need to do in order to stay the best version of yourself you can, and don't get run down, right, running between family event after family event. In terms of Monday, we got new home sales at 10 a.m. So that's like one smaller piece of data, but nothing really super important. Consumer confidence Tuesday at 10 a.m. That's going to be important, right? So consumer confidence tomorrow at 10 a.m. is something that is significant. We got a few members of the Fed speaking. Again, nothing that should be crazy. But tomorrow, 10 a.m. is really going to be our first big piece of data, which is consumer confidence. Then Wednesday, November 29th, we get GDP data, first revision. So that's before the market opens at 8:30 a.m. There's like different pieces of GDP data, but consumer confidence is seeming like that would be a more important piece of information thus far. Thursday, we get initial jobless claims at 8:30 a.m. Then we also get PCE data at 8:30 a.m. So Thursday is definitely the biggest day in terms of data that we get before the market opens. And then Friday, we get ISM manufacturing data. That'll happen at 10 a.m. That is something that can, kind of influence price action at 10 a.m. on Friday. And we also get Powell speaking at 11. So Powell speaks at 11 a.m. on Friday, and then Fed Chair Jerome Powell and Fed Governor Lisa Cook talk to local leaders in Atlanta. That happens at 2 p.m. So Friday is kind of an action-packed day. We've got manufacturing data at 10, Powell at 11, and then Powell again with another member of the Fed, Lisa Cook, at 2. So that is not a normal time for Powell to speak. Make sure you remain aware of that, right? Because those are the ones that can sneak up on you when he has those impromptu, meetings or recitations or lectures or interviews, and that can end up moving markets. So that's what we're going to be paying attention to here this week. It's really going to be Tuesday when we get the consumer confidence data at 10 a.m. That's going to be important. And then also Thursday, we get PCE. Friday, we get Powell. So Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, right? Make sure you've got all that marked on your, dry erase board, your trading dry erase calendar, so that you know what you're getting on which day, so that you're not in 10 positions and then the market starts going crazy. And you're like, what happened? Oh, yeah, Powell is speaking. Right, that's what today is about, and that's why this Monday session is so important. So make sure you put okay, awesome. Vivian said RE Invent is happening all week long. So it looks like Amazon might have tons of stuff for us all week. I'm sure they'll drip it out in a way that keeps eyes on the event. They'll try and make some headlines. Let's see here what else we got happening. So now we're looking at what our Monday specific topics are here. And the first one, good cop, bad cop. So our top news, the latest round of UN climate talks known as COP28 gets underway this week in Dubai, with many of the parties looking for concrete pledges to combat the damaging effects of climate change. It's a trend that's been seen since the 2015 Paris Agreement to curb warming at 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels, where progress is yet to be made despite many workshops, gatherings, and conferences. Greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide even reached new record highs in 2022, while increasing temperatures, a loss of biodiversity, and extreme weather events like floods and hurricanes have set off many environmental alarm bells. In terms of a snapshot here, many scientists now say that 2023 is virtually certain to be the hottest year ever in recorded history. It doesn't help that regional wars are sparking fears about energy security at the same time that fossil fuel manufacturing usage is being outsourced to developing nations, where deregulation of environmental protections has been used to advance their economies. This can even be seen among countries that are powering the green revolution, like nickel smelting for EV batteries, with further criticism being leveled at the sustainable commitments of some of the world's most profitable companies. That's true, right? We all talk about, electric vehicles and all these different forms of alternative energy or forms of, kind of helping with what's contributing to global warming. But those things are being done in a way that contributes to global warming, right? Like nickel smelting in order to make batteries for EV. Nickel smelting isn't good for the environment, right? So it's like if you do something that's bad for the environment in the hopes of creating something that's good for the environment, is it really worth it? That's kind of the argument. And I maintain my stance on this. At the end of the day, when people are struggling, right, you've got places that are at war. You've got inflation that's rampant in a lot of different places. It's kind of one of those things where, to be honest, people just don't care about what the environment is going to look like 20 years from now or even 10 years from now if they're struggling right now, this year, right now at this minute. So I don't know. I feel like these meetings kind of end up being more of a horse and pony show than anything. These countries that are, kind of being outsourced to create all these different things like EV batteries, these companies that manufacture all this, like they are going to cut corners because, again, they're trying to get to where we are, right? So we, during the Industrial Revolution, were not worried about how much CO2 we were pumping into the atmosphere because it was so much, right? So much. These countries are just trying to get to being developed countries. They don't care what it takes to get there. So again, at the end of the day, it's kind of like, what the heck are they all there for? Like, I feel like the majority of politics in all these meetings is just for everyone to walk away feeling better. But we've covered these COP meetings in the past, and like not much has really come of it. So we can, watch our alternative energy, tickers and kind of see what happens if we get any movement there, any like movement that matters, in terms of like the charts letting us know that there's an opportunity. But if not, I'm not sitting here holding my breath over it. Looking at TAN, which is that exchange traded fund for solar companies, that might look a little bit interesting here with a daily bull flag that it has going on right now. So if TAN can, close above 48.09 on the daily, then I like TAN, call swings 2 weeks out. That would make for a nice little trade there on TAN if it can get that daily close above. So I'm going to go set an alert. And also TAN, one that we were watching for a while, and it fired that weekly symmetrical triangle, right? It was squeezing so tight, and then it burst out of that to the downside, and TAN has been headed down ever since. So that was something that we were watching a number of months ago. So, if you took advantage of that, that ended up being very profitable there with that, symmetrical triangle. We were just squeezing tight. Then we broke to the downside, and it's been like months of just downside since then. So getting back into COP28 here. Meanwhile, a backlash against Dr. Sultan Al-Jaber erupted as soon as the head of ADNOC, the state-owned oil company of the United Arab Emirates, was appointed president of the COP28. The climate talks this year are also taking place in the UAE, a hydrocarbon heavyweight within OPEC that plans to raise its oil production capacity to 5 million barrels per day by 2027. Others argue that this type of leadership needed to pursue this type of agenda and can help other fossil fuel leaders enter the climate conversation to transition the globe to a low-carbon economy. The UAE maintains strategic ties ranging from the United States and the European Union to China and Russia. Yeah, it's kind of like someone being elected the head of the No Violence Conference, and they are Mike Tyson, right? Or like Floyd Mayweather. Like, you've made your living off of doing the thing that this whole conference is about not doing. So I do get the whole standpoint from where, like, hey, we should have these people leading it because they're going to convince the other people that they need to take up arms. But to be honest, it just comes off with like a kind of like a lack of genuine intent, to be honest. Let's see. In terms of quotes, everyone needs to be a part of this process and everyone needs to be held responsible and accountable, Al-Jaber declared in a recent interview. Quote, that includes all industries, and in particular heavy emitting industries like aviation, transportation, aluminum, cement, steel, as well as the oil and gas industry. We need to provide the necessary insurance and hedging mechanisms to protect the private sector and incentivize them to come on board to help fix the climate finance challenge. Everyone must be consulted. Everyone must be given the opportunity to contribute. Now, in terms of what to watch, there will be some notable absences at the COP28, including President Biden, who has championed a climate agenda in his signature Inflation Reduction Act. The Inflation Reduction Act that granted $369 billion in American clean energy subsidies and tax breaks. China's Xi Jinping will also be missing, meaning both leaders of the world's largest greenhouse gas emitters will be absent on the global stage. Like past summits, negotiations at the COP28 will ultimately boil down to questions of fairness and trust, as well as accountability and enforcement mechanisms. Another topic that could also derail the talks is climate reparations or loss and damage payments to countries that cannot afford to defend themselves against climate risks. Yeah, basically what that means is just that like some type of payments from us who are huge greenhouse gas emitters to countries that are most at risk from, like rising, ocean levels, wildfires, and all that stuff, right? That comes with, increasing global temperature. So, yeah, this is something where, again, with President Biden and Xi Jinping, I doubt that this is something that is on the even near the forefront of their agenda, which is why neither one of them will be present. So, kind of reinforces the idea of this being less important to markets and even more of a dog and pony show. Again, because they always get together to talk about how are we going to enforce, whatever we're talking about trying to do, and then they never come away with means of how to enforce it. In terms of consumer news here, shopping spree. Black Friday online shopping in the U.S. has been a bright spot for retailers, with consumers spending a record $9.8 billion, according to Adobe Analytics. The record spending, which was widely expected, was driven by shoppers hunting for the best deals online amid deep discounts and flexible payment options. Thanksgiving online spending also rose to a record $5.6 billion, and consumers aren't, I think they meant done. Consumers aren't done yet, with Cyber Monday still expected to be this year's biggest online shopping day. MasterCard data also showed that online sales surged while in-store shopping was less popular. Yeah, guys, I mean, just be aware, right? Just be aware of what's going on. Be aware of whether or not you're actually taking advantage of a sale, right? A lot of these things are just the exact same price that they were 2 weeks ago. They just put a larger price and then crossed it out and then put the price that they had there. I'll probably post about it today on Instagram, but there was a lady going viral right now on TikTok where at Target, she pulls out the Black Friday price, and behind it, they left the same price card in from the week before, and it was the same price, right? It was like Target special sale was behind the Black Friday price, and it was both the same thing, right? So, just be aware, kind of look out for what's going on here, and also make sure that, there are some deals that are out there. Just make sure, again, that you're not spending money that you can't afford to spend, all that good stuff. Don't give in to the pressure. We talked a bit about this on the, in the Liberated Soul Live that we did in that group. Just don't feel unnecessary or undue pressure in order to be Santa Claus for everyone, right? Like I feel like the wealthiest people that I've been around, it's not really a big gift giving thing. Like Christmas isn't, right? I feel like it's only for like kind of really middle class people that most stress like giving gifts to everyone on Christmas. At least that's what I've seen, right? Growing up with people who have served in the White House and, people who have been the CEOs of Fortune 500 companies, right? And just seeing kind of how they deal with Hanukkah, how they deal with Christmas. It's just a completely different way than really how we feel like we have to deal with Christmas, right? Or middle class people feel like they have to deal with Christmas. So don't get caught up in the hustle and bustle. And especially don't get chumped out by Target, right? Posting the same prices as they did 2 weeks ago. And also make sure that you're aware that everybody, who needs to be putting their money to work in markets, they can enroll in stock options made easy for 40% off using trade at checkout. So all of your friends and family that are out buying new flat screen TVs and other things that won't do anything but take money out of their pocket, make sure that you let them know, right? Friends don't let friends stay broke. Anybody who, you've told about the course, you've told about the program, or you've, kind of sent them information, let them know, hey, you remember that thing that I told you about, that thing that just helped me bring in this much on Disney, or helped me bring in this much on Apple, or helped me bring in this much last month, or this much on Thursday of last week, right? Make sure that they know that is also available to them, because all they know is what they see, right? I'll get this flat screen that's normally $1,000. I can get it for $800, right? I'm saving all this money. You're not. You're spending money, right? The thing you want to at least look to do is take this time to get discounts on things that will help make you money, right? Things that will help make you a better person. Things that will help close the gap between where you are and where you want to be. So make sure that if you have anyone that you've even mentioned trading to, anything like this, make sure that they're aware of this possibility so that you can give people the opportunity, right, to choose themselves instead of just choosing all the things that are going to keep us stuck and depressed, and run down and no closer to where we want to be, especially heading into the new year, right? Heading into the new year, I want to be most prepped, most geared up to crush it not coming into the year financially stifled, right? I don't want to come into the new year broke and then say this is going to be my year when you have nothing there in order to equip it to be your year, right? So, if you guys enjoy being a part of this community, make sure you're sharing that to other people. And yeah, this will be the cheapest that it'll ever be for them to become a part of it, to get this knowledge. So pay for it once, pays you for the rest of your life. Couldn't imagine a better setup. In terms of commodities news here, gold rush. Gold advanced to a fresh 6-month high over the weekend, rising further above the $2,000 an ounce mark as expectations that the Federal Reserve has reached the end of its rate hiking cycle pushed the dollar index lower and lifted non-yielding bullion. Quote, evidence shows that commonly cited fundamental drivers of gold's price are on shaky ground, wrote Seeking Alpha analyst Ralph Wakerly. He cited the socioeconomic theory of finance as a way to discern sentiment around gold prices, with a review of gold trader positioning at the extremes to demonstrate strong support for the theory. Now, in terms of financials, 0-day options, that's 0 DTE, 0 dates for anybody who's not familiar. This year's trending trade on Wall Street, 0-day options, has now reached the Treasury and commodity markets, with NASDAQ listing new contracts tracking popular ETFs investing in oil, USO, natural gas, UNG, gold, GLD, silver, SLV, and long-term treasuries, ticker TLT. While they have become increasingly popular, analysts warn that 0 dates could worsen market volatility if the options reach a big enough scale. Traders use this strategy to make a quick buck and hedge against short-term market movements caused by major events such as CPI reports and Federal Reserve's policy meetings. I think this is significant, right? I mean, they're basically, the NASDAQ is listing 0 dates on different ETFs in oil and in commodities. So, USO, UNG, GLD, SLV, TLT, all of those will now, I assume, have 0 date contracts every day. So for you guys that don't know, SPY, QQQ, the Dow Jones, all of those ETFs have 0 date contracts every day, meaning contracts that expire that day. Other than that, the only 0 dates you can get will be on Friday for like normal stocks, because that's when option contracts expire. But it looks like they're looking to open up 0 dates to even more tickers, including USO, GLD, SLV, and TLT. So, honestly, just another risky way to be involved with markets. I mean, I play 0 dates, but I make it very, very apparent that everyone understands the immense risk that 0 dates pose. It's like the letter that you get, and they're like, this note will self-destruct in 5, 4. That's a 0 date, right? It will literally be useless by the end of the day. So if you are playing it, make sure you understand that to the fullest capacity, because that theta on 0 dates ain't no joke. Throw a 3 in the chat if you understand what I'm talking about, right? If you've ever been a victim of that 0 date theta. It's not like they haven't ever paid big, but they will also kick you in that gut and leave you gasping for air. In terms of today's markets, looking mostly red here as of when this newsletter dropped. In Asia, Japan, we're down 0.5%, Hong Kong down 0.2%, China down 0.3%, India closed. In London, we're down 0.2%, Paris down 0.1%, Frankfurt down 0.2%, the Dow down 0.1%, S&P down 0.2%, NASDAQ down 0.1%, crude oil down 1.4%, gold up 0.5%, Bitcoin down 1.8% to still sitting around 37K. In terms of today's economic calendar, new home sales is like the only thing really that's happening, and that's at 10 a.m. And then what else is happening? We'll finish up with our rapid fire stock news rundown. So WHO, pneumonia, that's World Health Organization. Pneumonia outbreak in China is no reason for alarm. I feel like I've heard that before. The AI gold rush is here. Buy picks and shovels to benefit. People always talk about that, right? Don't go searching for gold. Invest in the picks and the shovels. And that's, AKA NVIDIA, right? And all the semiconductor companies. So those are really the companies you want to go after, is what is going to fuel the AI boom, right? What's going to fuel the AI boom? That's what you want to focus on. Novo Nordisk, ticker NVO, huge reality check awaits investors. Activist Elliott takes over $2 billion stake in Crown Castle, ticker CCI. Will Binance's crypto dominance persist post-settlement? Tesla's battle to avoid unionization in Sweden escalates. Beijing's exchange bars stock sales by major shareholders. This is crazy, the length they're going through to prop up their market. Alibaba, ticker BABA, shuts quantum computing lab amid rehaul. What else? Amazon Web Services likely to shine at reInvent conference. And then Moody's health insurers outlook is stable despite headwinds. So that's all, and that'll wrap us up, put a bow on it, take us out here this morning as we dive into a new week of trying to do that. add more coins into that penny bank, right? So into that piggy bank. We want a little bit more than pennies. But make sure, again, that anyone that if you are sitting here and you're watching this, you're like, man, I've been waiting for a long time to jump in and I'm not really sure if this is for me. Stock options made easy. Reach out, right? Ask, converse. But what I don't want everyone here doing is sitting here and saying, oh, well, I've been following Adam for a year or 2 years and I've been kind of thinking about it, because 2 years turns into 5, 5 into 10, and nothing gets done. It's always about execution, right? Information never changed anyone's life. Execution did. And when you're looking at sales, we don't have sales often. Like, I don't throw sales out there often because I know the value of what's being taught, right? So the fact that this sale is out for this large of a percentage, which has never been there before, I'm laying up that opportunity for anyone that has been looking at getting involved with markets and hasn't thus far, right? Get in, because you don't want to miss out on that opportunity of all these different stocks that are lagging behind the market, pushing toward new all-time highs. These haven't made it yet, and you taking positions now will turn into huge 1,000%, 2,000% returns in the future, just like NVIDIA did, and just like another one that we've been recently investing in long-term that has already brought home big returns. Just getting started. There's still more room, right? Just don't wait and then say, oh, okay, I'm just going to give it another 6 months, another year. That's not going to change your circumstances, right? You want to make sure you're continuously doing what you want to do now in order to become the person you want to become, right? You become that person by doing that stuff ASAP. So if you aren't a member of Stock Options Made Easy, but you've been around, the community for a while, I'm encouraging you to take that jump. This is the best time you will not ever get. I promise you won't ever get a better time than this. So use trade TRADE at checkout for 40% off Stock Options Made Easy. Make sure you get in here, get rocking and rolling in markets, and don't miss out on this opportunity. I'm super excited to have you. To all the new people that are signing up, very excited to have you too. Excited for our first one-on-ones. Excited to get into, kind of getting you rocking and rolling in markets. And I'll see you soon. Everybody else, I'll see you back here tomorrow morning for our next Premarket Prep session. Have a good one. Peace.